Welcome to Spurs Vision TV. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all you guys around the world. Right? We're in a very interesting season now. At the moment, I think we have about five, including me, we've got five Spurs fans, and then of course we've got Uncle Rock from is a Liverpool Spurs, Liverpool fan. Ken is from Philippines, and he's a Newcastle fan. And of course, we've got the big guy in the house, right? The only person that's won a trophy, which is Kesha. He's a West Ham fan. Oh dear, let me just go through the
That's
chats.
right.
That's right. Yep, Snoop Dogg, GGG, right? Big up. Thanks for being
Snoop
on.
Dogg.
Right, Snoop Dogg, GGG. All right. So because now why there's this Snoop Dogg going around because now we got Udoji, you know. So
All right.
Udoji, yeah. He's the big dog in our left wing at the moment, right? Big dog in the left, what call his, left back, as you call it, right? But guys, how you guys doing? King Arthur, everything well?
Yeah, absolutely superb, especially after Saturday.
Yeah, we'll go into the matches soon, right? Chanska, haven't had you on some time. It's good to have you again. How are you doing in India?
Yeah, I'm doing absolutely fine. The weather's a bit messy, but apart from that, I'm doing really good.
The weather's messy. It means raining.
Yeah, rains, and sporadic. It's not like you can't even predict the weather. So you just go out planning the good nice day out and suddenly rain everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. And the dog, all well in Malaysia.
Oh, very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. And of course, Harry, is it your lunch break or you're at home now?
Oh no, I'm not working today, so that's why.
That's why you're free to do this show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Uncle Rod, yeah, all good in UK.
Yeah, it's all good. It's kind of like humid today, very humid. Do you know what I mean? But
It's hot, but it's not like
okay nonetheless. Do you know what I mean?
But which part of UK are you? I mean, of course, I know Harry's in London. Uncle Rod, which part are you? All right.
I'm just outside London. I'm in a place called Bedfordshire.
Bedfordshire,
which is just outside London, really. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not really too far away from the city, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. And 10, how's the Philippines treating you?
It's all right. I mean, the weather's also kind of weird. Like in the morning, it's very hot, but later in the afternoon, it rains a lot. So yeah, that's how the weather's been.
Yep. And I guess Keshaf from the more or less same country as I am in right, Malaysia. I guess the same, right? It's cloudy, rains a bit, then the sun comes out. It's weirder here, guys. I tell you. If you come and live in Malaysia, the weather's weirder here. But we're used to it, right? We're Malaysians.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Since today we're here, right? Because I haven't done a show last week. I was supposed to do a review show last week. So this week I just decided to do one. So we'll be more or less going to 2 matches, right, per club. And we'll just have a look in it and get your thoughts on it. And then maybe along the way, we'll look at the following. If I'm not mistaken, after next Saturday, we're going on to our international break.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 Premier League weekends.
Yeah. So there's two weeks without football. So they'll give us some interesting resting time and evaluation time.
And then the transfer window will finish by the end of next week as well.
Yeah, and the transfer window will finish by the end of next week. Apart, only the Saudi window doesn't close, so everybody's having an uproar about it.
Saudis, right? If you're watching, Eric Dyer's free, so go get
Eric Dyer, Tanguy Ndombele.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, Tanguy Ndombele. Who else do we need to get rid of? Right. All the players we don't want. Yeah. All the players we don't want. Even take Lloris, right? Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lloris, right? But guys, let me see what we shall go. Okay. I guess we'll go through the Spurs games first, right? Because there's so many Spurs fans here, right? Okay. First thing I'll do. Arthur, Brentford 2, Spurs 2. Manchester United game, we won 2-0 at home, right? And you didn't go to the match, you watched it at home with your family. Give us your thoughts on the Brentford game first, then we move on to the Spurs game.
Thoughts on the Brentford game? Right, I thought Brentford did very well, to be honest. They deserved to win. But I thought we came back quite strong in the second half. And that's all I'm going to say about that game. Can we move on to Manchester?
Yeah, I know you're so excited with Manchester. Okay, Manchester United game then.
Yeah.
You're at home.
First half, I think Manchester edged it until the last 10, 15 minutes. We started to pick up. The second half, different game entirely. Came out, controlled it, And of course, we can now see some major guys in that team, which I think are going to be really strong. Bissouma, Udogie, these are all guys I think shone like stars. Madison had a great game, but I think Bissouma outshone him. I'm not going to name all the names, but I thought we played as a really good unit. And when you think about it, we're still only it was a few weeks before the season kicked off. He put the squad together, and here we are 2 games in, and we're just getting better with each game. So it seems, although there's only been 2 games. I think we're going to be a good side actually, and when we finish buying as well, it'll put the cream on the cake.
All right, fair. Sanska, what do you think about the 2 games that we had?
So I mean, for Brentford, like honestly, as soon as Romero got injured, I was like, okay, this is gonna go down like haywire because matches coming on. Like these 3 players have never probably played before, even in training sessions they probably haven't. But honestly, yeah, I agree with Arthur that like Brentford probably deserve to win. But then I'm really glad because like I feel like it was a first match to understand like how these guys are gonna adapt. And like the fact that they adapted in that match towards the end of 90 minutes, like Van de Ven, Udogie, all of them like felt more comfortable. That's great. And now, of course, United game. That was like just second half. It felt like these guys were just playing for the fun of it. It felt like they were just playing on a playground. Just Udogie's just dicing past Casemiro and everyone like they're just some Sunday league ballers. So it was just like by the second half, it was just felt like we weren't playing Manchester United. It felt like we were playing some championship team, honestly. Like the amount of comfort these guys had.
Luckily, there ain't no Manchester United fan on the show today.
Yeah, no, but even generally, I was discussing with some Manchester United fans, and when Bissouma just like cut past Casemiro like that, even they like were just like surprised because they weren't expecting our midfield like to dominate this much. So yeah, I mean, just like that's the sign of great things to come.
Yep. And Doc, how do you feel about the 2 games?
Well, the first one, of course, I was filled with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. What will happen and all that. But I was pleased to see them cope very well with after Romero went out so soon after the start, and I was worried. I was a bit concerned to see Sanchez on for him, but he did quite well, did he not? All things considered, and the Brentford were really tough to handle really, and they will always give any team a tough time, especially at home. That is true. The other thing is it's good to see that there are the beginnings of good movements, especially in the second half. But it's just one of those things where in the beginning it's just half a yard or half a second, too early or too soon, or too late. So I feel that it's all coming well together. It's only 2 games, of course, and I always say that I would like to see how we do after 10.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see how we do after 10. Then we will have a good feeling that this sort of thing will be flourishing, and we've got good times ahead. As for now, it's always good to see anybody beat Manchester United. No, so okay. And it was good value. They cost us quite a few problems in the beginning, but I'll take these 3 points. 4 points as it stands, and look forward to the next one soon enough. Thank you.
Yep. And Harry, you were at the match for the Manchester United game, right?
Yeah, I was.
And okay, let's go to the Brentford game first. That was a away game. I don't think you went to the game. Your feelings on the 2 games?
Yeah, so for Brentford, I was just thankful that we didn't lose, because obviously it's Ange's first game. So if it ended up being a loss, I think that would have been quite detrimental. As like everyone else, when Romero went off, I was like, oh no, we're going to lose this now. But I think we did enough. And just following on, obviously, to United, I think the big change in Tottenham, I know it's only been 2 games, but it's the change to the 3 in midfield. So just the pure tactical switch to a 3. Of course, playing 4-3-3 now instead of 3-4-3. But if you guys remember from last season, Spurs struggled in the 3-4-3 against
Yeah.
a lot of the sides because the other teams would play 3 midfield. And I do think, obviously, that's got the best out of Basuma because in Brighton, he's played in the 3, so naturally he's a lot more comfortable. Obviously, we're missing Bentancur still, but the midfield options look like amazing. But I think we struggle still up front because obviously Kane's gone, and to replace those goals is going to take a lot. And Son and Kulusevski, I don't think fit this system from what I've seen so far because they like to cut in. I've been really impressed with Doji. Romero, surprisingly, he's calmed down, at least for the first 2 games, so touch wood he carries on. and then, so, like, there seems to be positives about, but again, it's still early days, so we need to bring in, for me, like 3 more players in like 7 days. For me to, like, yeah.
Can I just add a point? Is that this season it appears to be that we've got a midfield, an engine room at last, which we haven't had before, and our defence seems to be sorting itself out. I do like this guy Van der Ven. I think he's brilliant. I really do. So I'll leave. The floor's open.
Okay. So, like, for me, I still think Spurs need a centre half, and they need a fullback that can play either side, and an attacker that can play all across the front.
Yeah.
And then well, I don't think we'll get any of them because I only got 6 days.
Yeah.
One last thing. We need to get our front 3 firing.
Yeah, that's where I think that's our biggest weakness now since we've lost our talisman, right? Yeah, that's it. But Harry, the stadium, the atmosphere, you were there, right?
Yeah,
During the game against Manchester United, right? I guess it how you call it, it's a totally different feeling when we win. Right, the whole stadium was rocking. We saw all the videos. The Ange songs are all coming out now, right? How long do you stay back? Did you
No,
enjoy the party?
I normally go straight after the game. I don't stay for the beers and the after stuff. So I normally go. I go to the game just before normally, or if I go to a protest, I'll go obviously a few hours before. I didn't go to this one, but if I've been to like 3 or 4, let's say, and then I go in, I watch the game, and then I leave at the end of the game because we're all rushing to go home. Really.
No, that's true.
So I don't really stay afterwards unless like it would be Arsenal or something. I wouldn't really.
Unless we beat Arsenal.
In a few weeks.
Because I know a lot of people talking about that game as if it was like the best atmosphere at the new stadium. I disagree. I still think Arsenal game last season was better.
Yeah, the season we beat Arsenal. Yeah. That was the one. The build up to it.
It's just it's a different game. Totally different game.
But to tell you the truth, right?
I was there.
Arsenal was in that game, right? Yeah. But to tell you the truth, right? I think it's a good thing for us because we've broken the voodoo that in the last 3 seasons we haven't actually beaten Manchester United at our own home ground. So at least that is that streak has been broken, right? Okay, now we will come to the neutrals, right? Of course, I'll come to Uncle Rod's first, right? I'm not sure whether you watched the Brentford game or the Spurs Manchester United game, right? Just give us your thoughts on these 2 games, Uncle Rod's.
I watched a bit of the Brentford and Spurs game. Watched a bit of that, and I thought, you know what? I thought it was good play all round. I thought Spurs played well, and Brentford played well. You know what you get from a Thomas Frank team? You get to like good attacking emphasis, good play, good passing. I think they need to work on the defense a bit, but all around for the Thomas Frank team, and you do get some good play. Your manager, I can't pronounce his name, so bloody long. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll call him Ange. I'll just call him Ange.
We all do anyway.
No, listen. He's a manager today that sort of like he's coming to his own. He done very well at Celtic. Do you know what I mean? You know, he showed what he was about at Celtic. And to an extent, today he's starting to imprint his mark in a Tottenham team. I hope at the end of the day that sort of like, Levy sticks with this guy, at least gives this guy a good chance to try and turn Tottenham's fortunes back round. Do you understand what I'm getting at? The game they had against Man United, listen, it's always good to beat the scum. It's always good to beat the scum. Do you know what I mean? Always good. I mean, they took a lot of your players in the past, didn't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's always going to be good. But you don't deserve it. You don't deserve to win. In the first half, and they was a bit shaky. You know what I mean? That could have been anybody's game. Do you know what I mean? But the second half, I don't know what Ange said to your players, but they come out with a new vision on the game, if you might say, and they started to start to really press Man United and got the two goals which they deserved. Do you know what I mean? Nobody can say it and day that that Tottenham didn't deserve that win. Do you know what I mean? You know, it was like say right. Ange must said to him, goes right. See what they like in the first half, but importantly, do not concede. Yeah. Then when you see what they like in the second half, go for them in the second half, and that's what they did. Do you know what I mean? Well deserved win, and I don't think Tottenham's got Europe this season, have they?
No.
No. So when they're net there, you can concentrate on the league. You can concentrate on the league and concentrate on getting yourself in a good position in the league. I think put it this way, I think Ange, right, this is a good time for him to come in. You know what I mean? Where there's no pressure of Europa League, Europa Cup, and Champions League. No pressure of that. You can just concentrate on the league. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously your domestic cups. Do you know what I mean? But I'm tipping you guys for this season. I mean, I know I'm thinking ahead of myself, but there's no reason why you guys can't get fifth place. No reason why.
Even I don't have that confidence. Yeah.
No, there's no reason why. No reason why not.
Yeah, there's no reason why not. But that's it. Season hasn't closed. I mean, the transfer window hasn't closed yet, right? We could upgrade, right? Because what we see now, if Ange is going to move with this squad core of players, not including Tanguy, not including Dyer, and Tanganga and all those guys, right? So we can actually build on it, right? And of course, 10. Your thoughts on the two games that happened?
I actually only watched like the second half of both games, so because Spurs were only like the second half team.
Yeah.
But the Brentford game, from what I can remember, I think it looked like Spurs were dominating Brentford in that second half, and then I think before the season started, I was like, okay, I'm not sure with Tottenham just yet. I thought maybe it would take some time to implement Ange's style of play, because I think he's a good manager. I just don't think Tottenham have the team yet to play his sort of way of football. But after watching the first two games, especially the Man United at home game, so far he has done very well, unbeaten for Tottenham. And now I think for Tottenham, it's about making sure that you guys continue to build on momentum, because you don't want to beat Man United and then lose your next game against Bournemouth.
Oh, yeah, we've done that a lot of times.
So I think so far it's been really good for Tottenham. Maybe a bit of a surprise, but I think as long as you keep having the momentum, I think Tottenham could do well this season. I think the big test will probably be the Arsenal game away. I know Tottenham usually lose that game, but if Tottenham can show a bit of fight, like how Arsenal did at your ground last season and did the double over you, who knows what Tottenham can do at them. So I think that'll be like maybe the true test of where Tottenham are in terms of like where they will progress in this season. But so far it's been so good for Spurs fans.
Yeah. Because I think our fixtures early, right, ain't gonna be easy, because we are playing, some strong team. Some mediocre teams, some strong teams, then some mediocre teams, and then some strong teams. Right? There's a good mixture there for us to actually gauge where we will be after the next 10 games, right? And let's come to Keshav. Keshav, Spurs games. Were you interested, or you just You're more interested in Moyes?
Moyes ball.
Moyes.
I did watch the game. I did watch both of them.
You did watch, right? Yeah.
I did watch. I thought, I like to make a confession, is that I like Brentford a lot. I think they play in a very similar way that West Ham play. I know I don't like the type of football, but I think you get what you get. You sit back and defend, and you hope to go on the counter attack and play with some pace and flair. But I think what I saw in that Brentford game, with Spurs. I thought Brentford actually played quite well, and I thought also, I think it was dominant from Spurs in a way that I think I saw glimpses of what Spurs could do. And I feel the thing is, what I feel with Ange is that I think he needs time, and I know Spurs fans will say that you can't give Ange a lot of time. Like, Nuno didn't have that much time at Spurs when he first came in. So this is why I think Spurs fans need to be a bit patient, because I feel maybe time is what is needed to sort of help Spurs. Because when I look at that squad, I think it's a very good squad. I think now once you have added Van der Ven, I think he's a very good centre back, very good in the air. His physicality is what helps. Okay then.
Not good in there. When he's not good in there, right? He's not good
at
in
that.
there.
Okay.
The stats don't make him not being good in there. That's the thing.
I
we
see.
saw
Okay.
that, right? Yeah. Right.
But what I think is that you do have a good team. I think that midfielder you have, what's his name, Sa, is it? He's also starting
Yeah.
a bit of glimpses of he's quite good actually. In the I think I saw in the Manchester United game he played quite well. And Bissouma is also starting to show a bit of what he did at Brighton, where he was dominant on the ball, because that's what Bissouma used to do. And I thought, when I watched the Manchester United game, I thought Man United started quite well, but then after that they sort of fell off. And credit to Spurs, but I thought they actually played well in that game, because I didn't watch it. And I think Spurs need to sort of build on these performances, like what we saw against Spurs. I think what I think Ange's style is more towards is attacking or sort of possession based. And I think we see now Keane going, I think there's a big loophole, it's a big hole to fill in, because it's not easy to replace as your star man and Keane. And you can't rely on Richarlison, let's be honest, because I don't think he won't deliver in every game. He's not a consistent striker. And what I do feel is that Spurs need to add a couple of players. I think you have a great opportunity. You don't have any Europa League or Conference League. You can purely focus on the league to sort of help you. But I think adding a few more players, I think Tottenham should be able to push at least the Europa League spot, because I think there is a possibility. I mean, look at the players. You've got Maddison. I think he's very good on his day. He can be very good. You've got Kulusevski, can cut inside. You have Son. I think Son. What I witnessed with Son is that he's not been consistent. I think in the starting since game one, I've not seen him do anything or work hard on the ball. That's my opinion, but that's what I've seen. But I like the guy Udogie. He's very good. He's quite an interesting player. Actually, what I remember, I think he's from Udinese, if I'm not mistaken. Was it?
Yeah,
Udinese?
I think so.
We brought him about 2 years ago, or was it 1 year ago? We loaned him out, and we're only getting him back this season or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah, Udogie is
Well, Harvey Barnes, at the end of the day, is a very underrated player. I'm telling you, Harvey Barnes, I rate him highly.
I want him at Tottenham, mate.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's really good. I mean, I rated him when he was at Leicester, and I said to myself, look, if he came into a Klopp squad, I'll be happy. I won't be displeased. I think he's a very good player, but he doesn't really get enough of his flowers, if you understand what I'm saying. But he's a very good player, and he could do bits for you this season, I reckon. When he gets the ball, and you got to think about it. When he gets the ball, he ain't scared of running at players. He ain't not scared of running at players, and he ain't scared of taking on players. You know what I mean? So if you get him up to speed, you got some player in your hands, mate. Got some player in your hands.
But that's what you guys say. For me, is that I'm okay. But just hold on first. Let me go to the chats, right? Big up to Eva Man, right? Nice to see you guys. To Chun Yeo, right? Big up to you guys. And Ellie, big up Ellie. Ellie's in the chats, right? Ellie, if you want to join us, I'll send you the link. You just hold on for a while, right? While I'm going through this. It's a very simple thing. And now, as I see it, right, against the Brentford game, we had to play against a low blocking team. You get what I'm saying? While we're doing that, the low blocking team, we found it because that was the first match of the season. Maybe big up to Chris Agambatu, right? Maybe we found it hard to break them down, right? And then they got us on a counter attack a couple of times, and that's how we conceded the goals, right? But when we played against Manchester United, I guess Manchester United played a more open game. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was more in the first half. We had this back and forth. You get what I'm saying? And then while the back and forth went on, I think we got the better of them. because they did have their chances of actually putting the ball behind the net, but they didn't take it. So and there was this big penalty shout and all that. That when it was it went in our favor, the penalty, right? And as I see it, right, how would you say? From there we build on. But the only thing that I was surprised is that the way we dominated Manchester United in that second half, that gave me a doubt. It's not to say that we were fantastic, but Manchester United was just under par. You get
I mean, Wolves
I think the
managed
midfield is the
to
problem.
play Man
Remember you
United
spoke about this.
easily.
The midfield is their problem, isn't it?
Yeah, whether it's the midfield's got
But what
problem.
we did is we forced them onto the back foot, and they're not used to doing that. They used to coming forward. We stopped it. And that's what I said. The strength in our engine room, the midfield, was superb.
It was. It was.
Yeah, and I would like to ask the neutral fans, right? Because now as Spurs fans, right, what we see, right, we are so excited with our midfield, right? We think that we have the best midfield. Let's
In
say
the world.
look at in the world straight away. Ellie, I've seen you. You want to get hop up?
I'm joking, by the way. I'm not
Yeah, no, I know you're joking. At this moment, right, we seem to have that strongest midfield that is we see at the moment, right? That midfield trio, right? And of course, we do have some depth in it. We can switch in, skip with Sarr, right? And that gives us a bit of a squad rotation thing. And we
Bentancur.
Bentancur's coming.
Yeah.
Bentancur is coming back. And
He went back
us,
soon, yeah.
guys,
Also.
being a Spurs
Yeah.
fan, right? Don't be so happy yet. There's rumors out there. Madison is injured. You know?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Madison is injured. And the thing is that with Madison injured, we don't seem so worried because all of a sudden we got Lo Celso. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that means that we've got a good squad rotation going on in midfield, right?
Yeah.
In the defense, right? We are talking about we were afraid of Porro not being able to defend, right? But he showed up during the Manchester United game. Remember last season we were saying Porro can't defend for Pima. Yeah, we were saying he's good in going forward, but he's not good in actually doing defense. But he showed up, right? And that gave us a bit of a leeway then. But of course, we got to rotate him with Emerson Royale, which that gives me a bit of. You guys know about Emerson Royale, right? And, and on the left side we got Udoji, which was surprising because he's assimilated so well into the Premier League. I mean, he came out strong and all that. But of course, on the left hand side, we are still considered weak, short of players too.
Ben Davies.
We got Ben Davies to take over. Yeah.
He scored.
And he scored.
He did actually. You know what? That volley, I thought it was gonna go in.
Yeah, he scored. No, and then there was a scuff shot against another scuff shot that went past the keeper, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
But the truth, right? There's no Manchester United fan here, so he can't defend Manchester United or maybe whatever it is. But guys, I think overall at the moment for me is that I've seen the game evolve into a much better game from the previous 2 managers or 3 managers that we have. I'm not going to be expecting anything at the moment because, like I said, it's just 2 games in the season. But it's given a Spurs fan a slight glimmer of hope, you know. The football is attractive again, right? We are getting results, okay? But like what Keshaf is saying, or was it 10 was saying, right? The sterner test, it's coming along the way.
I just realized you have Arsenal away and Liverpool at home, back to back.
Yeah, Arsenal, Liverpool. But hold on, guys. Let me bring on Ellie. Hi, Ellie. Big up. Yeah, let me move all the Spurs fans right and all the everyone meet Ellie, right? I'm not sure.
Big up Ellie. Big up.
Big up.
Meet Uncle Rods 10 Keshaf. Has Sanskars from India. I'm not sure if you've done the show with Sanskar.
Yeah.
And of course, Dr. Ramlan is a Malaysian. Yep. And
Hello.
Very well spoken.
Yeah,
I love
and
it.
Ellie, we were just talking about Spurs game, right? Were you there on Saturday?
Yes, I was.
Yeah,
Oh
Ellie
my
was there on
God,
Saturday.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So we were just going through the Brentford game and the Manchester United game.
Yeah.
Right. Just give us your thoughts on that, Ellie.
The Brentford game was a little bit tougher because they did the low block, as I heard you say, and they defended very well. and they hit us on the break. They played a bit like what we did under Conte. It's a bit boring, but we tried to break them down, but we just didn't get that luck in front of goal. And Richie was off as well, so we needed him to step up, but he really didn't. And then the Man United game was a different kettle of fish because they came at us. The first half was probably they edged it in terms of chances, but in terms of play, we were keeping up with them. And then the second half, it was just we just exploded it into handball, didn't we?
Yeah,
Fabulous.
absolutely.
Fabulous to watch, and it was very exciting. And there was an air in the crowd, you know, an air of expectancy. And
Yeah,
like, everybody was pumped up for it.
yeah.
And like after the game, Eugene, it was fabulous in the concourse with the
Yeah, that's
drummer.
right.
It's brilliant. But you know what? I got my foot broken in the process.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
what-
my goodness.
yeah.
I got
Wow.
my foot broken. But it was a guy I normally stand with, right? And we both jumped up and down. And he's a
Wow.
big guy. He's
Oh.
6'3". He came
Oh,
down
yeah.
to my foot. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, you know, it was hurting, but it wasn't like anything. When I got home, it was black and blue. But
Oh,
I didn't care because we won the game. Can't we? Yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't bother me.
Yeah. No, I understand. Maybe you used to play football too, right, Ellie? So it was just like
Yeah,
a
I've had
football injury, and
injuries.
you play through it, right? Play through it, and then
Yeah.
after that, you find, oh dear, it's broken.
Yeah, you know what? Because what happens, you know, when you first break it, right, you don't feel it. It's after a couple of hours, then the pain starts setting
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The main thing is, we went out on that pitch in the second half, and we gave it to Man United. All the
Big
players
time.
stepped up, and I love Pape Sarr. Oh my God,
Brilliant player.
fantastic!
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Pape
he's
Sarr.
got the legs of a giraffe.
Ellie, don't curse it, right? We want the legs of the giraffes and not Bambi on ice, okay?
That's only Sanchez, isn't it? That's what.
Yeah. But don't give Sanchez too much gripe nowadays, right? They're all turning into actually a proper squad. That's why I was saying, like the midfield now, we have actually players to rotate or to take out, and not to say, like the rumors out there now, right? Madison is injured. He came out of the stadium in a cast.
Yeah.
And all
Yeah.
that. So now we're and somehow or another, if you were saying two seasons ago as Spurs fans, we're going, oh dear, who's going to take the spot of this player? But like this season, we're going, no, it's okay. If Madison is not there, we can put in the Celso, right?
Yeah.
There's no worry there, right? So that's one thing. Being a Spurs fan at the moment is a bit relief that we do have the players to come in to fit into the spots that shows that somehow or another we're building a bit of depth in our squad now. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and also Eugene, I'd like to add, we've got Big Ant Postecoglou, and he's a fantastic motivator. He's just really good at not dissing these players and making sure, because he knows there's little tweaks here and there that need to be made, right, to make us the finished article. Because we're not quite the finished article yet, but we're getting
We're
there.
far away from that. Yeah, we're far away from it.
But the thing is, we have got options now, which is nice.
Yeah.
And they're
But
good
of course, I'm
options as well.
sure my three guests who are not Spurs fans here, right, will be always
Yeah.
thinking, right, since Harry Kane has left, our front three has not come up to the expectations, and if our front three become up to the expectations that's met, right, we will actually become a fearsome.
It's gonna take. Listen, you lost a big player. There's no doubt, and Harry Kane is a massive player. Not only for sort of like Tottenham, he was a massive player in the league. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's gonna take a bit of time and they to sort of like adjust to the sort of like the losing of Harry Kane. But I think in the end of the day, you can adjust. Do you know what I mean? You can do it. And when you do adjust, right, the sky's the limit. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got to be able to adjust to sort of losing a big player like that, because not only are you losing his goals, you're losing his link-up play with Son. Do you know what I mean? They're able to sort of like drop deep, pick up the ball, spread it out wide, and you know what I mean? Link up with Son, assist and all that sort of stuff.
But,
so you're losing that partnership.
Rod, do you
But
think Spurs
it'll take
because of the on the front three, right? So Son and Kulusevski were inside forwards in the 3-4-3, right? Now in 4-3-3, they're required to play wider. Do you think that's why we're struggling as well?
No, not really, because I think I don't think that's part of the problem. I think part of the problem will probably be at the end of the day adjusting together, getting together for that. I mean, sort of like Song at the end of the day, he's used to playing out wide. Even when he played with Harry Kane, he used to come off the left, cut inside, and do his thing. Do you know what I mean? You know, he's given us problems before. Do you know what I mean? As Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? So he's used to going out wide. Kulusevski at the day, he's used to doing wide. He done wide with his other team. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's that. I just think at the day he's just adjusting together at the day, reading each other's play. Do you know what I mean? And that will come in time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because if you asking sort of like the front three to be this, obviously this magnificent front three, you're asking too much at this present time. Yeah. You just lost a big player. So I think when they start getting adjusted, put it this way, the more times they play together, is the more time they're going to get to know each other and know each other's runs, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Know each other, where to find each other and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And you find out, and then day, right, before you know it, you start scoring goals. Do you know what I mean? You know, and not only as a front three at the day, got to do their thing. The midfield as well. The midfield's got to do their thing. Everybody's got to chip in. Do you know what I mean? In the loss of at the day of a big player like Harry Kane. You know, it happens to every team. Do you know what I mean? But like, I think once Tottenham's the team at the day, you got to think about it. Tottenham's the team in the front. For ever since I've known Tottenham, you know what I mean? Because I'm showing my age now. Do you know what I mean? I remember when, like people like friggin' Ozzy Ardiles used to play for Tottenham.
Oh yeah, Ozzy Diaz.
Yeah, David. Is it David?
David Villa. I wish it was David Villa. Ricky Villa.
No, what's the Argentinian guy he used to pair up with? The other one, Ricky Villa.
Yeah, not David. You're saying like David Villa.
I know. I was trying to remember.
He was a class striker, man. David Villa.
I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. Come on. Excuse me. Anyway,
go further back than you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Arthur can go further back than me.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I remember those days because what it was at the day when I was growing up. All right, I had a pal of mine. He was a big Spurs fan. Do you know what I mean? He's a big Spurs fan. So like Sundays, I used to be down his house and everything like that, watching sort of like Tottenham play. Do you know what I mean? So one thing I know about Tottenham at the day, they've got the ability to adjust. And what people got to realize that what's going to happen is when they do adjust. Yeah, when they do adjust and things start kicking, do you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It'd be very hard to stop them. Yeah. Very hard to stop them. You know.
I'd like to add something to your point, right? So you've got the three front players who weren't performing last year, all of them. The only one who really kicked in towards the end was Sonny, right?
Yeah.
The other two, right, Richarlison and Kulu, they had quite a rotten season through injury, through lack of form, and now they're coming into this season, right, without Harry Kane into their play. All right, we've got Maddison, but it's a big transition for them, and they're playing. Yeah. They're playing the same roles as they did with Harry, but they don't really have to adjust their roles. They've got to adjust their form. They've got to spark into action.
Yeah,
so they can see the best of them again. Because we know that Sonny's better than what he's showing, and we know that Kulu is better than what he's showing. Right? So we've got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I rate Son. I think Son at the day, such Kokosi. I think Son at the day is a fantastic player. I mean, Jonathan down. You might sound wrong. Yeah, but me and I rated Son more than I rated Harry Kane. You know, I think Son.
I disagree with that.
I know. I think, no. Serious. I think you know what it is. I think Son. I know Harry Kane scored the goals and so forth, and that I will never take that away from him. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, but like I more rated Son, and I'm speaking of like a non-biased individual here. Do you know what I mean? I rated Son to the fullest. Do you know what I mean? I said to myself, you know, if Son came to my team and everything, I'll be like, listen, I'll throw a street party, mate. I'll throw a street party. He's a fantastic player.
Yeah, and Doc, you want to say something, Doc?
No, just as a case in point, if you look at the goal, the first goal that we scored, the Sarr scored, I wanted to say that the point about our midfield, coming together and all that, with Bentancur expected to come in very soon. The other thing is that the players seem to have more belief in themselves because they have belief in the project, what the coach is trying to achieve and all that. You can see last season, towards the second half of the last season, they have no belief at all because simply they don't buy into the sort of football that they were playing. So I think this is the biggest point about not only having the best players to play that particular system or approach to the game, but also the others who seem to have been on the periphery of what we were doing last season, coming into it and buying into it as well. And I feel that we might also have a good second look at the players that we were about to write off. All right, and we can see that when you get excited, you seem to bring it up. And Ellie's point about their form, yes, it's all about belief. And when they buy into it, I'm sure we'll see better times. That's the point. And just as a point, I would like to make earlier. I was so amazed with the way that Sarr scored the goal, because he was leaning back. That was going to row 65, if you're not careful. But because he had that legs of giraffe, you mentioned giraffe legs and all that, he managed to sort of bring it down enough to get it underneath the bar. So that guy has fantastic technique.
I like that last night actually. But...
Yeah, fantastic technique.
Sonny got a lot of criticism for that game, but I thought he played well. Especially in that second half. He took it to them, right, and he was linking up well. He done one blind pass that didn't quite. It was a really good pass. I think it was Sarr. He hit it into or Udogie, one of the two. And then the other one, when he cut across the defence, beating two players, and he got his shot blocked. So he is doing the right things now. And I saw a lot of positives in Son's performance.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, now he's the captain. So even apart from his own performance, he's indirectly responsible for making sure that everyone else is also performing well. So the pressure on him, and even Richarlison on filling in Kane's boots, obviously. So these guys have an immense amount of pressure right now, and I think right now in the first two games, Son has been handling it really well. Because you can see when it's Sarr, you have so many young players, Sarr, Udogie, Van de Ven. These guys are just in their 20s. They're literally just in their 20s. So these players come in the Prem, having to see an entire 60,000 fans and playing against Manchester United, making the debut. So it's so much pressure on all of them. And Son has to be the one to make sure they're calm. He has to kind of mentor them and all. Yeah. And he's the captain of his national team, but then he's always had Kane or Lloris that they're always going to be that voice. They're always going to be the central figure who's going to bring everyone together. But now that's him. And even with that pressure, the fact that he's still delivering, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And guys, just hold on for a while. Big up to Kelsey Brown, right? Thanks for your opinions on Newcastle. We'll come to that, right? And Hrishta Mukherjee, big up to Hrishta. That must be Shanska's girlfriend, right?
Cute,
And guys, please smash the like or hit the like or click the like and give me a subscribe if you haven't, right? Just subscribe to the channel. Shanska will be joining us very much more, right? He's more he's been a long-time regular from the old days when I first started, right, Shanska? Right? Let's get us some more subscribers, right? I hardly ever go for subscribers, but since I'm here, must just go for it. And the rest of them, like Uncle Ross, he's got his own channel. Ten has got his own channel too, if I'm not mistaken, right? Kelsey Brown, right? Yeah. And of course, Has has his own channel, right? Hasper TV, and of course, Queen Ellie. Queen Ellie nowadays is joining Kate, right? Just a girl from Spurs.
Yeah, I join Kate on Wednesdays, and I'm on tonight at 9:00 with Chris and Jose.
That's from Meta TV. Meta Football TV.
I joined Hazzy as well.
You got on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Guys, just
go get your my channel off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come on. I want
some
the
subscribes and some likes on their channels, right, guys? But okay, since we're talking about us losing Kane, right? Because what Uncle Ross was saying, right? Uncle Ross, you lost Sane. And look what happened last season.
Mane, you mean Mane?
Mane.
Sorry, Mane. You lost Mane. Right? You lost Mane.
Oh yeah, is Salah leaving?
Yeah, I just saw it as well.
You ain't going nowhere, mate. You ain't going nowhere, mate. Don't worry about that. You know, you ain't going, man.
Okay.
Trust me, you ain't going nowhere. Stop smiling, mate. All right?
Yeah. And since we come to that, we'll just go through the two games that Liverpool went through, right? Chelsea, Liverpool, okay, and Liverpool, Bournemouth. I'll just, since Uncle Rods is the Liverpool fan here, Uncle Rods, give us your thoughts on the Chelsea, Liverpool game.
Okay, that Chelsea Liverpool game. I had a feeling it was going to be a draw. A bit boring. It was a bit boring in some bits, but like we should have had a penalty because that was a blatant handball in the area. To me, at the end of the day, it could have been much better if we had a DM. We didn't have a DM, and like what was happening is like down there, right, which was our left, they were just getting through all the time, just getting through. So you found out that because it had nobody that can put their foot on the ball. Chelsea had about 74% possession. Do you know what I mean? But however, they couldn't do nothing with it. Do you know what I mean? You know, we held out. But I think if we had a DM, we could have done probably much more better than what we did. Do you know what I mean? In that game. So it was a bit like watching that game, hoping that the day that Chelsea, won't score and go ahead. Do you know what I mean? You know, and more time holding out, and then they in that game because everything's just going through. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was going to be like 3 or 4-1, something like that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just like, you know, we could have played better. Then again, Chelsea probably could have played better because they probably should have won that game if we didn't have a DM and to what they had on the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
They missed a penalty, right? If I'm not mistaken, in that game. Did they?
No.
I don't.
No, that was the other game. That was West Ham game.
There was Ham game. Okay.
Enzo Fernandez missed it. But yeah, it's just like, you know.
Come to the West Ham game soon.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So basically, it was like we could have done better, and I suppose when you look at Chelsea, should have done better because they should have beat us really because we was at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? To what they had. You know what I mean? Bournemouth game started off pretty slow, to be honest. We started off pretty slow. I was like, what's going on? And slow and panicky and anxious. Do you know what I mean? There's like when they had the ball, it was like a hot potato or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Didn't want to keep it. Do you know what I mean? And they wanted too much time on the ball and that. Do you know what I mean? And then they could have scored in the first minute. Do you know what I mean? But it was offside. But however, they did score. And what they did, and they pretty much they was pressing us high up the pitch, and we were just getting panic on the ball. But then after a while, when we calmed down, we just calmed down and said, right, you know, let's play ball now. We got into the game. We literally got into the game, in fact, and we started playing. And of course, at the day, Luis Diaz come out with that wonder goal. Do you know what I mean? It was just quality. Do you know what I mean? So we get to 1-1. Then obviously we get the penalty that makes it 2-1. Do you know what I mean? With the penalty, yeah, I've seen them given. Then again, I've seen them not given. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's 50-50. Yeah. It's 50-50. You know what I mean? You know. So anyway, so like we get the penalty, we go 2-1 up, and then coming the second half, we started a bit more better. And then McAllister gets a red card, which he shouldn't have got the red card because it got rescinded, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I just thought that was ridiculous. But then that sparked us on. It sparked us into, you know, up in the temper because like man like Szoboszlai, and it was like he was just playing out of his skin. Do you know what I mean? He was just literally playing out of his skin. And then
I really rate him actually. I like
him a lot. He's a good player. He's a good player because, you know, if you look at there's a short documentary about him, and you know, like started and getting trained by his dad and this and that, and you watch it. It's very interesting in some of the training techniques that that he did. But yeah, so you know, he started to run the show and that, and then you know, he takes a shot and then it rebounds, and then obviously Jota puts in a rebound and 3-1 up, and then you know we just sort of coasted from then. You know what I mean, until the end. But the Bournemouth game was a bit more promise. It was a bit more promise than obviously the Chelsea game. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you know, I was pleased with the Bournemouth game. I did a watch along for both. Do you know what I mean? So Bournemouth game was more excited. Do you know what I mean? obviously in the turnout than what I was for the Chelsea turnout. Do you know what I mean? So we've got Newcastle this weekend. We'll see what happens, isn't it?
That's a hard game, man.
Yeah, don't worry. Later we'll get to the Newcastle when we come to the predictions. Right, we'll have a short banter between Uncle Rods and Ten. Right, okay, big up Luca. Thanks for joining us. Right, and of course, big up to Leo from Hotspur. All right, Luca, we'll just have you. We'll give you a view later. Right, when
Yeah.
And Ten, sometimes I'll have to mute you for a while because there's some feedback coming back from your side of the.
Okay.
But I'll come to you first, Ten. Right.
Right.
The Chelsea Liverpool game and the Liverpool Bournemouth game. Any thoughts on it? You watch it?
I only watched the Chelsea game between Liverpool. I thought Liverpool were really good in the first 30 minutes of the game, and then I think Chelsea grew into the game, made it 1-1. If Chilwell wasn't offside, could have been 2-1. So I think in that game, I think Chelsea probably deserved the win if there was to be a winner, but Chelsea Liverpool always ends in a draw. For the Bournemouth game, just from what I've seen, just highlights, I think it feels like Liverpool are still carrying what they had from last season. They still need a DM. I know they brought in Endo, but I still don't think that's enough at the moment. So I do think Liverpool need at least one more midfielder or at least another defender probably to add more cover to their team. But obviously in attack, I do think Liverpool are going to, will probably get Liverpool out of sticky situations. When Liverpool aren't playing well, if Liverpool's attack with Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Nunez, Jota, they can definitely get their way out of bad situations. When Liverpool don't play well, you can always expect the attack to get them out of it, basically. So in terms of how Liverpool have done so far, attacking wise, I think they're all right. Just defensively, it will be a bit. It feels like last season, just as a neutral. That's what it feels like.
Last season, right? Okay. Okay. All right, Luca. Your question, I'm going to answer you, right? What are your thoughts on Spurs replacement Harry Kane? There won't be any replacement, Luca. We're Spurs.
Maybe in 5 years, Eugene.
Yeah. Maybe in 5 years' time, right? We didn't replace.
He got 4 years to replace Eric.
We didn't replace Yan. We didn't replace Toby, right? We didn't replace Ericsson, right? After how many years?
4 years to replace
Ericsson. 4 years, yeah. So, all right. That will answer Luca's question, right? Okay, we come to Keshav. Keshav, Chelsea, Liverpool, Bournemouth. Your thoughts on it?
I watched both games. Very good. Particularly the Chelsea game was quite. The first half an hour, I thought it was a bit cagey. I thought both sides had quite a lot of chances. I thought Chelsea had quite a lot of chances, but they didn't convert them. Liverpool, I think, started off well. Then they will have few misplaced passes here and there. But I thought that was in a way a bit boring, the Chelsea game. But I think a draw would suit Liverpool in any way, because I think considering Chelsea's billion spend of players. But coming to Bournemouth, I thought Liverpool started off again very cagey. Actually, I was watching the game with my brother. He's a Liverpool fan. So I thought Liverpool had a lot of chances, but I think the first 5 minutes was very cagey. So what's his name? Semenyo scored quite a good goal, and then after that, it sort of Liverpool needed to sort of step up a bit, and they did. I thought Diaz scored a very good goal, and then Liverpool gained momentum. I thought Endo looked quite good when he came on. Actually, I really thought he looked good. What I feel about Endo is I think he's a stopgap replacement. I don't think he's the final sort of midfielder, because I think Liverpool have always had the issues with FSG and money not being spent, because I think when you look at the Liverpool team now, selling Henderson and Fabinho, and you're not getting a replacement, and just Endo coming in, it doesn't really fix things. To me, it looks like a stopgap. But I think Liverpool know their issues, and I know certainly that Liverpool need midfielders, because you can't just sell Fabinho and Henderson in one window. You need replacement, and FSG is not backing Klopp, and that is why I feel it's I mean, this has obviously been going on for how many years already, and to see that FSG don't spend the money, and you see other clubs spending big, that tells you a lot that Liverpool need to sort of fix this issue. But don't get me wrong, I think Liverpool will be there. I think Liverpool will do well this season, but I just don't think that they're going to win. I still think Man City will be there, but I think Liverpool probably, in my opinion, maybe at the end of the season, maybe third, fourth. It's going to be a bit difficult now when you have Newcastle there and other teams, so not going to be easy. But I think Liverpool will do well. I do think they will find a way, because I know they've got very good players and the crowd certainly helps them. So yeah.
All right, that's fair. And Ellie, do you watch any of the games? Any thoughts? Thoughts you want to put into it?
Yeah, I watched the Chelsea-Liverpool game. I just watched the highlights of the Bournemouth-Liverpool game. But I thought the Chelsea-Liverpool game was better than... I thought it was quite a good game, because I thought it was very well contested, right? Both teams were going for it. I think Liverpool was slightly better in terms of their creativity. I think Chelsea were quite wasteful.
Yep.
And some of their players are not gelling still. They still need to work on that. And I'm sure Pochettino will get it right, but it will take him a long time, because there's a lot of problems to sort out with that Chelsea team. Yeah, and even my future son-in-law, he's a big Chelsea fan. Even he phoned me up and he said he was quite disappointed in their overall play. So my assessment of the game, I thought Liverpool were better, and Chelsea could do more.
Mm-hmm.
They need to do more.
All right, Harry.
Oh yeah, sorry. Like with Eddie, I watched a bit of the Chelsea-Liverpool game, and I didn't really see the Bournemouth game. But for the Bournemouth game, I kind of expected that result. I expected Liverpool to win at home by 2 or 3 goals. I think, just to touch on Chelsea-Liverpool, I think both teams are a work in progress or in a rebuild, whatever you want to say. And I think partly because Liverpool have some aging defenders and some aging players that they still need to replace. Obviously, Mane left, so the dynamic of the front three, as we saw last season, has changed, and I still think they're adjusting to that. And obviously, the addition of Gakpo at the end of last season, it's still like a new side. And of course, they've added Szoboszlai and McAllister, so that midfield's a new midfield. It's going to take them a while to really gel. As for Chelsea, because they just keep buying 10 players every summer now, every window, it's like I don't even know what Chelsea team plays anymore. But so it's like I think Pochettino though is the perfect manager to kind of rebuild a team, as we saw at Spurs, obviously in his first couple of seasons. And I think he'll get to where he wants to get to with them, and they'll probably end up maybe challenging for Europe or something of that sort. But yeah, that's probably my summary of both of them, really. Yeah.
Okay. Doc, do you watch the game? Any thoughts on these 2 games?
No, I was traveling both weekends. But I watched some of the highlights, and I agree with you, Harry, because basically that Chelsea team will take a bit of time, and I'm a bit it just caught my eye that when you lose 2 midfielders, Liverpool, yes, Henderson and Fabinho, and then they just not adequately replaced. So that will take some work in time. Mm-hmm. But overall, I feel that many teams, apart from Manchester City and Newcastle to a certain extent, they all have new players or new managers, players playing new systems, so on and so forth. So there'll be a bit of tinkering here and there. And as I usually say, we'll have to see the next 10 games and see what turns up. But even Manchester City also, the other day I was watching them. Suddenly, they don't seem to be no longer dependent on just that big centre forward in front of them. Yes, they're beginning to share the goal getting responsibilities amongst them. So that is the key as well. And if I may make another reference to us losing Kane, right? My only reservation when we had Kane was that everything goes through him, and we always become a bit more predictable than we should have been. And we mentioned that we had people, we never actually replaced the centre backs and all that. But now I feel that at least we have the makings of two guys who are very close to what Dembele was to us. That's the thing. So that's exciting. It's just that we are just one or two centre backs short. And another point I would like to make is, as far as I'm concerned, I have to have another eye always on Liverpool, because my 11 nephews are all Liverpool fans. Okay, 11, yeah, practically. I'm the lone wolf. I'm the lone wolf Spurs fan. So there you go. I'm sort of an outlier. Okay, and and my own daughter is a Manchester United fan, so we get a bit of variety in our family, But mind you, nobody is a Chelsea fan, Nobody is a Chelsea fan. That's the thing.
I've got one incoming.
And my best friend is a West Ham fan. There you go.
Okay.
So really good, exciting times ahead, huh?
That's a good thing. Yeah. Arthur, had you watched the game? Any thoughts on the two games?
Chelsea Liverpool bored me to tears, so I switched off. And then I watched the Liverpool Bournemouth game, and Liverpool won as I knew they would. I could have put money on that, so it's a foregone conclusion. But I wanted to see what Bournemouth looked like, because we've got them this weekend. So, at the end of the day, I just knew Liverpool would beat Bournemouth. But Chelsea-Liverpool game, I could have used that to, if I was restless, I would have used that to go to sleep, It was boring, but the Liverpool-Bournemouth game was a bit better.
Okay, all right. Sanska?
Yeah, so I watched the Liverpool-Chelsea game and just a bit of Liverpool-Bournemouth when I heard that McAllister got a red card. So, Chelsea won. Honestly, I was surprised because first 10-15 minutes, I thought that Liverpool were absolutely going to smash them. And I was kind of happy. But then I feel like they just let Chelsea come back into the game, and suddenly Chelsea's putting barrage of attacks. And I feel like it's what everyone's saying, Liverpool's missing a DM. And honestly, considering the transfer market that they missed out on both Caicedo and Lavia, I feel like Endo might have been kind of just a panic stopgap because no one else was available. And I feel like this is going to bite them for this, at least the first half of the season till the winter transfer window. I genuinely feel like they're going to really miss it. Not replacing Fabinho is going to be a big problem for them.
Okay, all right.
And with Eugene, on that note, because it's 9:30, I'm gonna have to dip right now.
All right.
Really
okay.
fun.
Take care, Shaska. We'll catch up with you later.
You guys.
Bye. See you again. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, darling.
Yeah, have a good
Take care, mate.
Yeah, thanks. See your girlfriend.
I
know.
He's on a date.
Yeah. But okay. To tell the truth, right? For me, I have a bit of the different view. During the Chelsea-Liverpool game, right, I actually thought Chelsea should have won it. Right, because after what they went through, right, and Chelsea, I thought were the more in the later, second half and the later part of the game, Chelsea dominated. They pressed and they tried the best, but somehow they couldn't break the down. But it was still a back and forth thing. It could have gone anyway. The Liverpool-Bournemouth game was a bit weird because after the McAllister soft red card, right, I thought at least Bournemouth would have half, because they were already down 2-1. They would be intelligent enough to try to get that equalizing goal. But they just went all out and pressed and let Liverpool counter-attack them and score the other goal, which actually killed their hopes. So there are some, like I said, iffy moments at this moment because last week we saw 3 teams losing players, but not losing the games and actually winning them, right? We'll come to that, right? Because that one game was, of course, the Liverpool-Bournemouth game. The other game, of course, was the Arsenal game. There's no Arsenal fan here now, right? And of course, the last game we'll be going through most probably the West Ham game. West Ham won 3-1 with against a 10-man West Ham against a 11-man Chelsea, and they still won. right? That will be that will Kesha will have a field day there. But before we do that, because Uncle Rod needs to go, I need to have this talk between Rods and 10. Your thoughts, right, on the upcoming game? Liverpool. No, we're talking Newcastle at home, Liverpool away, right? I'll come to.
I'm gonna let Ten go first.
Now you go first. You got to leave, so you're gonna
let Ten go first.
Let 10 go first. Then at least you can
No, he's got home advantage. He's got home advantage, isn't he? So let him go first.
Yeah. Okay, home advantage. Go first.
Well, I mean, if we start off like how we did against Aston Villa against Liverpool, I'm not going to say it's going to be like a 3-4-0 or start like how we did against Tottenham last season. But I do think, look, we lost to Man City, the best team in the world right now, away. I was disappointed just how we approached that Man City game, but now I do expect us to bounce back because obviously it's at home. We're up against Liverpool, a team that were, I think, the only team that did the double over us last season and still couldn't finish above us in the league. But there is that bit of revenge for us, but we have a really bad record against Liverpool, and they were the team that kind of started our unbeaten run last season, 17 games unbeaten, and they were the team that ended our unbeaten one just before the Carabao Cup final. So there's that bit of history. So who knows? Maybe a penalty for Salah on his final game for Liverpool against Nick Pope, and then Pope saves it or whatever. Or we'll see. But in terms of the game, for now, I'm a bit cautious just because of our record against Liverpool historically. We haven't beaten them in like 8 years or something like that. And
Seriously,
the last player,
8 years?
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
And
It's been a minute. I think since Alan Shearer days, the blood clot.
I think the last player to score like a winner for us was Gini Wijnaldum.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
And then we bought him. Then we bought him next season.
Then we got relegated. And I do think there's obviously that history with us and Liverpool. I'm not sure if it is right now, but I think it's the highest scoring fixture in Premier League history. So you do expect goals, and I think the first 5, 10, 15 minutes for Newcastle, I think will be very important because, we often at home, like just start off blitzing teams, They against Tottenham last season, did it against Aston Villa a couple of weeks ago. So if we can blitz Liverpool in the first 10, 15 minutes, who knows, maybe we can break the 5-0 record.
All right. Okay.
Well, you know what it is? You got two hopes. Yeah.
No hope.
Nick Pope. Nick Pope. And no hope. Listen, you know it is. You know what it is, yeah. When it comes to sort of like Liverpool, Newcastle got to humble herself, don't you? Got to humble yourself. And
I think
like,
Liverpool this
and just sort of like think a level because
that's why I'm a bit cautious because of our against Liverpool. If it's against like Tottenham,
fully cautious, blood. You should be fully cautious, Because remember at the day, the reason why sort of like Newcastle had the good season last season is because of like when Eddie Howe was out of work, he went and learned from people like Klopp, Pep, and all those sort of people. Do you know what I mean? So listen, at the end of the day, as bad as it gets for Liverpool, usually at the end of the day when we go to St. James Park or when they come to Anfield, usually we get a victory or a draw. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I can't see this being any different. I mean, I know at the end of the day, that maintenance start by Aston Villa, but then obviously the following week, you know what I mean? It's like Man City that what it was with the Man City game, you could have tried a bit more harder.
Yeah, that's the thing.
In certain bits, you know, that, and you kind of allowed Man City to sort of like get that dominance over you. It's kind of like you're a bit kind of like apprehensive and trying certain things. When the season before, when you took the game to them, You literally took the game to them. You come out with a draw. Many people said it, and you probably should have won that game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
So
that was the home game. So
there is that apprehension. Sorry, there is that apprehension at the day with Newcastle. That apprehension in Newcastle. Listen, with Newcastle, I think that right. They got the money in and now, but what they're doing in there, which is very good, they're not sort of like going gun ho with it. They're buying players what they need, not what they want, what they need. The difference between them and Chelsea. You know, Chelsea will go out and buy this player, that player, and half of the players of what Chelsea buys, they don't need them. They literally don't need them. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, look at the other day. Look at the other day when they paid West Ham. Yeah, they're 2-1 down. Yeah, they're bringing on a striker which they brought from the League Two team. When they got other players on a bench at the day that could have done a much more better job. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there is that. I just think in the day, so like the levels of like what Newcastle are going for. I'm not saying that they won't get there, but it's going to take time to get there. Do you know what I mean? And when you think about Liverpool, yeah, we've been there, done that sort of like. Do you know what I mean? We've like progressed. The only thing I would say about Liverpool and you didn't strengthen when you was in a position of power. Do you know what I mean? One of the main things that they against the Chelsea game was that we didn't have a DM and everything was just coming through midfield. I think now we've got a DM now. I'm not saying that day so we're going to start blitzing team, but what you're going to see at the day is a more different game than what you saw at the Chelsea game. I still think at the day on Saturday, I still think we can still get the victory at St James Park because that doesn't phase us because we got the victory there before. It doesn't really phase us going to St James Park, one of the best grounds in the country, but it doesn't really phase us. I still think at the day we can roll out there sort of like 3-1.
Uncle Ross, give us a prediction.
3-1. I said, you know what? I said 3-1 right for the Bournemouth game, and I was right. I should have put money on that. I tell you what, I should have put money on that. If I put money on that, I would have bought everybody a drink. Do you know what I mean? No, but what I'm saying is that I think 3-1. I think what it is at the day, sort of like now we got like the DM, you know what I mean, in, and he's a pretty good DM. I think that adds a bit more balance to the team. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying the team's a finished article, but it adds balance to the team, sort of like. Do you know what I mean? So you're looking and then obviously McAllister's going to be in because the red card got rescinded. So you're probably looking at a midfield of like McAllister, Endo, and Szoboszlai. Do you know what I mean? And here we go. Do you know what I mean? See what happens. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, 3-1. But listen, I've got a show tomorrow, right? And it's my birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday!
It's my birthday. I'm gonna try and reach out to as many people as I can to send them a link, yeah, so they can come on, wish me happy birthday, chit chat for a bit, and obviously do what they're doing if not. So what is it today? What I'll do, fella, is I'll send a link to you, and you can send it out to your people. Then you know what I mean. Even this lovely lady here, and you can just come on for a couple of minutes, and say happy birthday and this and that. It's gonna be like a mini birthday party. Do you know what I mean?
What time are you starting from?
I'm gonna start it at 7 in the evening, my time.
Okay.
UK time. This is about 2 a.m. Malaysian time. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, just come in. Or you ain't gonna stay for long. Just come in and say happy birthday.
We'll hop in. You send me the link in the group chats. I'll pass the link out to all the guys here, and let's see who's hop on. They'll hop on, right, Uncle Ross? But I think you got to make a move, Uncle Ross. You got a show coming up, right?
Yeah, I've got to do it. I'm gonna do the show in a minute. But listen, thanks for having me on. I'll be here anytime you need me. I'm here, and love to everybody in the group and everything that, right? I keep on grinding, and love to everybody. And everybody like and subscribe to my good friend's channel. Like and subscribe. Take care, guys. Respect and love.
Take care.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, my dear.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Billy.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we come to this, right? Okay, since it's I'll come to 10 first because I just did that because the Liverpool the Newcastle game is coming up, and Uncle Ross seems to be very confident that he's going to beat Newcastle 3-1, right? So 10, 5-1 Villa. You smashed them, right?
Yeah.
And
well,
what happened? But hold on. What happened after the City game? I mean, was it like a change of tactics, or you all just went in and thought that you didn't have a chance and you just tried to draw the game, and 1-0 is
Yeah,
an acceptable result?
I think, well, I'll start with the Villa game. In the first 20-30 minutes before the Tyrone Mings injury, which is just horrible to watch. I think that game was very even. Both us and Villa looked like we were just going for attack. And then obviously Mings injury, and then I guess change of tactics and all that, and we just took advantage in the second half against Villa. But obviously, first home game, you would expect us to win. But then the Man City game, the fact that that's our first away game of the season, can't get any worse than that. But, the thing that a lot of people have talked about Newcastle, after the Aston Villa game, on Newcastle United title contenders. And then, now that we lost to Man City, Newcastle won't make top 10. It seems like it's been very flip-floppy. So who knows if we beat Liverpool or Newcastle in the title race again. So yeah, I think in terms of the Man City game, I watched it. I was really disappointed. Look, Man City away is always going to be a difficult game. I don't think, you can make a bet that no team will beat them at their ground.
We did.
But that's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
No, we beat them.
I meant that.
And
we beat them at their
we
stadium.
took 6 points off them.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Twice.
Yeah, so
we've done it before. We are the hoodoo team, so you don't have to count that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
We'll beat MCT away, and then we'll lose to Burnley. So we're
yeah, probably.
yeah.
But yeah, in terms of the performance from us, I was just disappointed overall because I really thought maybe we could have at least done a bit more. So that's why there's not that much confidence I have in the Liverpool game, even though I still I do expect us to bounce back because a lot of our players didn't play well against Man City, and even when it was 1-0 down, I still felt like if we show a bit more bravery in terms of attacking, even though maybe we would have lost 2-3-0 to Man City if we were a bit more brave. I kind of hope that we showed a bit of bravery, but really didn't. So it was a bit of a for any neutral, it was probably a boring game to watch, if I'm going to be honest. And I was bored because when I realized that we're not really going to change our tactics of maybe we'll try attack Man City because it was only 1-0, but we really didn't. But in terms of the performance from that game, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, kept Erling Haaland a bit quiet for the most part of that game, but the quality that Man City have away at the Etihad will always be tough, and we have one of the worst records away to Man City. But in terms of their game coming up against Liverpool, we don't have a great record recently against Liverpool, but obviously there's always time to change a bit of history and all that. And I think a lot of our players, because I'm not sure if Bruno Guimaraes actually hit out on one of the Newcastle United Twitter accounts, suggesting that Bruno Guimaraes, Armouan, and all of these players that we have, they're so bad, they're so terrible, almost like Newcastle fans are so ungrateful and all that. And Bruno Guimaraes just hit out on that Twitter account. So I think at the moment I still have confidence we can beat Liverpool. Will we? We'll see. But I do expect a very good performance against Liverpool, no matter what, especially at home. I think we can beat anyone at home. I mean, we beat Aston Villa 5-1. Not saying we'll do that against Liverpool, but I do expect us to up a very good performance against Liverpool, because if a lot of Newcastle fans want us to be a top team, we have to be performing against teams like Liverpool, Villa at home, and hopefully when we play Man City later on in the season at home. So we'll see how we get on, but I hope that we beat Liverpool, but we'll see.
Yeah. But do you have any scoreline prediction for the game? Uncle Ross gone 3-1 against you, right? So you got to hit back. You got to hit back hard.
I will say it feels like it could have a feeling of when we played Manchester United at home when we beat them 2-0. So I'll go 2-0.
Okay. Oh, clean sheet against Liverpool. That's a good one. Right. Okay. And I'll come to Doc. Doc, any insights on the new Newcastle games?
I think Newcastle are a bit far more settled in theory than Liverpool. Yes. So it's just a matter of getting to grips with the task at hand, and then you might well get the result that you want. Even a draw is possible. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I don't think that's also worst result.
Yeah, that's the thing. So if you start from that point, there's always something. If you can elevate at certain points and exploit any weaknesses that they may have because they haven't actually gelled with their defensive midfield problems and all that, then you may have a chance and you must seize it. So all the best to you.
Okay, all right.
We'll see.
Harry?
Yeah. I've got a lot to say about Newcastle.
Go ahead.
So I think Newcastle last season were 2 years ahead of where I thought they would be. And I mean that's in a good way. And Eddie Howe was kind of found the club where he's going to excel at Newcastle. He's given the freedom to pick the players he wants. Even the big names, like obviously you see a lot of clubs like Chelsea or Man City even, or like other clubs like that, always going for the big names. It's like Newcastle actually buying players that they need. Like that Tonali looks like a brilliant sign-in. I watched the Newcastle Villa game. Like he was different gravy. But that's another thing of like them buying players like cleverly, if that makes sense. And like Harvey Barnes was another one that Eddie Howe wanted. He got him. And Newcastle just slowly adding now around this 11 or 15 players they had last season, and they're just building a really good squad. Now I'm going to make a bold statement here. I think Newcastle are going to be City's closest challengers this season, and the reason I say this is because Arsenal under Arteta, part of the fact he's under a lot of pressure, and he's a very not inexperienced, but compared to Eddie Howe, he's got less experience in the Premier League and as a manager in general. I think Eddie Howe, even though both teams have Europe, I think he'll cope with it better, and Newcastle will cope with it better. So I think they're going to go and beat Liverpool 2-1 next week.
Oh, okay.
I hope so.
Newcastle. Okay, that's interesting.
I mean,
just mark my words. I think they'll be in a title race this year.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a world whereby that happens because our first 4 games of the season are Villa at home, City away, Liverpool at home, Brighton away, and I think we have the toughest start of any team.
Yeah.
So, and then afterwards we have like Brentford at home, Sheffield United away, Burnley at home, West Ham away.
That'd be interesting.
So in that regard, if we can start decently and then carry on, we could be an early title contender. Whether we'll actually go the distance and challenge Man City by April, May.
I think Newcastle guaranteed to get Champions League though. I'm just saying that.
I think that should be the aim for the club because look, I know a lot of other teams have improved. Like I think Tottenham have obviously improved, Liverpool somewhat improved, Chelsea who knows could click and improve, and all these other teams. But we've made Champions League and we've also improved our squad. A lot of people say that we have improved our squad. So I think it should at least match what we've achieved last season. But we'll see how the game against Liverpool goes.
And I think the important thing with Newcastle compared to, say, other teams is they have a settled and very strong back five, right? On the most part, their defense is like really, really good. They know their first 11 on the most part. And the midfield is we've got Bruno there, who I really like. They're doing, and then another player for me who people need to watch out for. I don't know if it'll happen this year or next year, but Isak, like the guy's gonna explode within like 1 or 2 years, and
Yeah,
he's
I think-
probably one of the best strikers in like Europe,
Mm.
because the guy's
I
got
think one of-
everything. Yeah. Sorry, you're saying.
Oh, well, one of the thing I think maybe comes to our advantage is we actually have two center forwards that are really good,
Yeah.
Rosen and Isak. Rosen got like 18 goals in the league. That's the 5th most. So, and obviously Isak scored, I think, 10 last season, and he was injured for half of it. So, in terms of attacking, you know, a main
Almiron's
number 9,
quality as well. Yeah.
against Man
Almiron-
City, he,
But
But like,
okay,
as in like, I think Newcastle have like a very good spine/base, right, compared to everyone
Yeah.
else. Obviously, City's different, but
Mm.
every other
City,
team.
City has got a
Arsenal
very
is
good
it.
everything.
I know.
Yeah.
With Arsenal,
Even
I don't know
if-
why. I just think Newcastle will finish above them this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, but that we'll
I hope so.
we'll have a look at that now. Like I
Yeah.
said, 2 games in the season. Let me come to Keshav. Keshav, Newcastle Villa 5-1, City 1-0. Any thoughts on the 2 games?
I did watch. I have to.
Keshav, you are watching every game.
Yeah, I am watching everything.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, our games are on TV.
Yeah, we
I
all
watch
games.
everything.
The first half
We
is
all
I-
games on TV. Yeah.
I do watch. But I have to say I am impressed with Newcastle. I think they are one of those teams which I think are gonna explode in a way which I think what I mean is progressively they're gonna become better, and I think it's a club or team to look out for. Definitely, I think they've got a good side. They've got 2 brilliant midfielders, Tonali and Guimaraes, very good. They've got also a very potent attack, and you know, they're really looking good. They're looking very very scary to play against. Not very tough, not easy to
I would
keep
say at
in.
home, yeah.
Not especially at home. And I don't like Newcastle because of what happened last season. That was one of the
Oh.
worst games. I did watch the game and I tell you, oh god, that was bad. One of the worst, really.
Yeah.
One of the worst. I thought we played shit that game, but anyways, very bad.
Talk about us too.
That was they really tore us apart. But coming back to Newcastle, I think Eddie Howe's done very well. I think he's a very underrated manager. But like I said, you know, when Newcastle got purchased in when? I think 2 years. Was it 2 years ago? I think 2 years
It's
ago.
about
Yeah,
2
yeah,
years
yeah.
now.
2 years ago, yeah. I know under Mike Ashley, Newcastle didn't have the freedom, and he didn't have much sort of money to be given to spend, or didn't give the manager to spend, and sort of Newcastle didn't have that sort of confidence to go out and compete. But now they've got sort of no excuses really. They have the money, they have the foundation to build, and who knows that maybe in 5 years' time they can compete. I think they are good, very good club, and now, you know, with the infrastructure and you see their training facilities, and you know, I sort of get a bit jealous compared to West Ham's training ground and Newcastle. That is different.
I mean, we're actually planning to hopefully in 5-10 years have a new training complex.
Yeah. So I think the investment, and I think when you see Newcastle, they've got very ambitious owners, and I think it's good to have ambitious owners. And when you have when you buy signings which are smart signings, not for like how Chelsea are doing, then it's a completely different game. That's why I sort of give credit to Newcastle. They are very good, and I can see them really competing. But Champions League is going to be tough because I don't think Newcastle.
Yeah.
I know they have a good squad, but I just don't. It's their first time back, and I think the fans sort of can give a bit of leeway in terms of not raising the expectations. I think if you ask me where I think Newcastle probably finish in Champions League, I'll probably say around the 16 really, or maybe.
Yeah, I think it really depends on who we get in our group next week when the
that's a
draw
tough
happens. If we get like Bayern, Real Madrid, AC
Yeah,
Milan,
that is true.
and us, you know, good luck. But you know,
But you
I
still
think
can get to the
for-
Europa, right? So you can join
Yeah.
Liverpool there. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think like obviously there's the Amazon documentary, and it is I'm pretty sure it's now confirmed that next season, because our shirts manufacturer is Castor, but I think next season is going to be Adidas, which I'm really happy about. Because obviously we have that connection, that history with Adidas, especially back in the 90s, early 2000s. So I think there's a lot of the things behind the scenes. Like people will say, "Oh, Newcastle has a plan," but they, we still have that sort of restriction. Like we can't really spend as much as a Man United and Arsenal or even a Spurs, because of the revenue restrictions that Mike Ashley had. Like our front of the shirt sponsor before, Fund 88, only paid us like around £5 million a year, whereas I think Tottenham's shirt sponsor pays like £40 million a year. So if money is the one that would help us, we want to grow the club, and obviously now we want to compete, because we're not going to be a Leicester City, just compete for a few years and then eventually fall away. We want, the owners in the documentary said, the ambition is to be number one. So I want, I'll hope that our club and the fans of Newcastle match that ambition, because we're on like almost a 70-year domestic trophy drought. So I want one trophy.
We're very close. We're very close to that too, right? Apart from the League Cup and a few FA Cups, we have not won the league in 60 over years now. Yeah, we have not. Yeah, since 61, we haven't won. Really,
it's been 90. Yeah. It's been 97 for us.
Yeah, you got 97. But okay, let's come to Ellie, right? Any thoughts on Newcastle? The games, Newcastle and Villa, and City and Newcastle.
Well, I watched both games. I thought they could have been a little bit more ambitious at Manchester City. Pushed them a little bit harder. I think they went there tentative, maybe just to get a draw. But you can't do that at Man City. You've really got to take the game to them and try and dominate some possession in certain parts of the game. But against Aston Villa, they were superb. And the midfield especially, they worked so hard, especially Guimaraes. I really like Guimaraes. I think I would have loved him at Spurs, because Jack Kanicki of the Irish Hotspur was bigging him up way before he went to Newcastle. He was like saying, this is the player we want. And he would have been a fantastic addition. But having said that, I thought Aston Villa were very poor. So you didn't really have a good opponent there to measure it up.
I think the game did change because of the injury to Mings.
Yeah,
I would say
because he's like their central defender. He holds their defence together. So once they'd lost him, it was like all guns ho, wasn't it? And it was like going to be a repeat of the Spurs Man City game. But you fell one short, so we were glad of that. But you know what? I think I was very impressed with the continuity of your play and the hard work they put in. Because sometimes in football, you can do all the flair work, right, and you won't get the reward. But if you put the hard graft in, I like players who are grafters as well. That's why I like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. That's what my nickname is. So I like players like Tonali and Guimaraes who roll up their sleeve, and they're all passion and heart, but they have got more skill as well. So, yeah, I just like the way Newcastle play. You're very on the front foot. Your strikers are fabulous. They don't get the big up like the Liverpool strikers or the Man City strikers, but they will do this season. And I think you are going to be in that title challenge. I think you will be there.
Definitely.
I agree with Harry there. Yeah. I really do.
I can see it happening. Whether it happens, we'll see.
It depends on other teams as well, how they compete as well. Because I can see Liverpool competing as well a lot tougher than they did last year. But I just think Chelsea are going to fall short. Arsenal will be there as well, because they've got 6 out of 6. They're very strong defensively, Arsenal. I'm not really impressed with their overall play, because when I watched them against Crystal Palace, I think Crystal Palace deserved to win that match.
I think Arsenal's biggest problem is actually up front.
Yeah,
they don't have a striker.
And they've lost Jesus for 6 weeks, right? And then they've got Nketiah, who can't score for money. Yeah, he's a bit like our Richarlison. But do you know what? Another thing I must say, right? Richarlison scored 20 goals for Brazil in 44 games, and he scored 46 goals for Everton in 135. So that's more than 1 in 3. So when people say he's not prolific, he's not a bad striker.
He needs supply. He just needs supply.
When he's come to Spurs, he's gone like a Jaffa, hasn't he? He's not scoring.
This is why I think Kulusevski and Son is a problem, because Kulusevski likes to cut in, Son likes to cut in, and he's not getting anything. So
What I said, he has to make smarter runs.
Maybe.
Because like Jimmy Greaves, right? The great Jimmy Greaves says you don't have to run around like a blue horse fly. You have to score the goals, and that's what Jimmy Greaves was good at. He was the best in England by far. No, I don't think anybody's going to ever break his record. If they do, I'll be very surprised. Harry Kane was the nearest to it, and he's gone to Germany.
Okay, let me get to Arthur. Your thoughts and views on the Newcastle and Villa and the City Newcastle game. Any thoughts on that, Arthur?
No.
I'll just give my thoughts on that, right? To tell the truth, like what Has says is very true. I think Newcastle is about 2 or 3 years ahead of their development on what they want to achieve, right? They already, in that first year under the new regime, they already achieved Champions League, right? And you do see the base being built up, the base squad, the spine is there, and while they're building around the new players, they're actually building a proper squad to challenge, right? What they're going to challenge for, I'm not sure now, because last season you did go up against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup,
Carabao Cup final.
Carabao Cup final, you guys were not there, and Manchester United got it. Right? During the season, what I saw, you came out impressively against Aston Villa. No matter how what you say, whether Mings injury or whatever, the passion was there, the speed, I mean, the intensity was there, right? And you smacked them. But somehow or another, when you went, like what you said, you went to Manchester City, and then it was totally, the mentality was different, right? So I think Eddie Howe will learn from that, right, and not have them cute in that sense along the way, because Eddie Howe is a learning manager. He always learns along the way to improve the squad and the team. And like you said, the season and the transfer window hasn't closed yet, right? So as I see it, you guys can get more improvements in before the transfer window close, right? Okay, so to tell the truth, at the moment now, how I feel about MCT is how I feel about Newcastle is, you guys, whether you're going to challenge MCT for the title, it's still too early to tell the truth, right? Because I've been predicting, because MCT has this problem of De Bruyne is being injured now. They sold Mahrez, they've lost Gundogan, right? And they're bringing new players too. And to tell the truth, that might be a slight transition for Manchester City now, because we will see Manchester City now being a bit dominant because they don't have the European commitments. But once Europe comes into play, that's when they really have to use the squad. Then we will really see what's going to happen. That's
Eugene, also another thing about Man City is that obviously they did the treble last season. It's going to be very hard to do that again. And whether the players have the same hunger to do that again, I don't know. And I think that might leave a bit of a small gap.
Yeah, it's something like what happened to Liverpool the two previous season when they were going for the quadruple, right? Everybody was hyped up, right? After they won, they couldn't make it. You see what happened last season. They actually just blew a gasket and they just fell back, right? But what I see the thing with Newcastle is, I don't think they'll be challenging for anything at the moment, right? Unless there's a big slip up from Arsenal.
I think they can finish above Arsenal, if I'm being honest. I don't think Arsenal.
But and if there's a big slip up there, right? And to tell the truth, not to say there's dark horses like Spurs, right? We're having one game a week now, right? And with Ange Ball coming in, we do not know. You get what I'm saying? But of course, we're talking about what is happening to Chelsea. You're saying that they bring in players like crazy, yes. But what if all of a sudden within the next month they click, right? Poch gets it right. Because we see the glimpse of the capability of the Chelsea players. Which, now I'll come to the most interesting game now will be this one, right? right? I'll get to Kesha first, right? Bournemouth, West Ham 1-1, West Ham 3, Chelsea 1. And the part was what I was impressed with West Ham is that they played to the letter of what Moyes wanted them to do, right? And they were a man down, Keshav. Don't tell me you're Moyes out now.
Well, okay, let me say this here. Don't get me wrong. What I will say is that I'm very pleased of West Ham last 2 months ago when we won the trophy. Don't get me wrong. That's really lifted my spirits. And I know people are gonna say that it's a conference league.
No. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Sebastian. But you know what?
Even I was jealous.
You know what? I think what you saw. I don't know whether you saw the game. The passion from the fans.
I watched the game. I watched at home. I watched the whole game because it was one of the odd games where it's just the only game for the Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I watched it. That's why I said I was impressed with West Ham with what Moyes did. You guys know, it's like something what you get into the sense that, of course, I'm going to say that Chelsea were disarray, too many new players coming in, they didn't click, and then when they instead of bringing in the 115 million pound guy that was supposed to push them to the next level, Chelsea came back downwards. It turned out worse. But what I say is that Chelsea attacked, right? Chelsea attacked, you defended, and you worked well.
Yeah.
And the goal that Mikel Antonio scored, right, was so typical of that pragmatic football thing. One ball over the top, he gets it, he runs against the defender, he gets into the box, he shoots, goal.
Yep.
That's all I say.
Well, I did watch the game, and this season I had a lot of. I was very, not to say worried. I was in a sense of I was very anxious because I didn't know what to expect. Because yes, I know we won a trophy. I know it was great, but then I think it was time to sort of move forward from it. And I felt that Moyes has got 1 year left on his contract, and Declan Rice leaving. I was a bit that sense of, I don't know how we're going to cope. I really don't, because I know it seems like Declan Rice is loving life at Arsenal, and I to be honest, I'm actually happy he's left. I don't feel any sort of regret that he's left. I think it was best for him to go. I think if he let's be honest, he wants to achieve his ambition, whether it's at Arsenal or Champions League football, let him go. I think it was inevitable, to be honest. I think getting 105 million from Arsenal was worth it. And you know what? I think West Ham actually spent very well. I think, when you look at the signings with me, like Ward-Prowse coming in, I think he's a very good player. Yes, he's very underrated for Southampton, but when you look at his free kicks, that tells you he's a very
the corner that got the first goal. Right?
Yeah, very good asset. And when I thought about it, I thought, what, actually, we're gonna be a dangerous team when it comes to free kicks, because nobody will want to play against us when it comes to corners, free kicks, whether it's And I thought, that's a good signing from West Ham. 30 million is quite a very cheap price for, from Southampton were quite picky when it came to the price. But, it's good that we came down to a settlement on that. Then we got Edson Alvarez from Ajax, which I think was a very astute signing from us. Very interesting player. Chelsea were linked with him, but we somehow managed to get him, and we've had quite a tough negotiation with Ajax, but somehow we were able to find solution. He wanted to come to us, which I thought was very good. And I thought when he came on at Alvarez, I thought he really showed very good, did defensive blocks very well. And Ward-Prowse, I tell you, I was watching the game, every time in the corner came, I thought, good up, let's see whether we can score or not. And then we got West Ham just recently signed the Mavropanos from Arsenal. From Stuttgart. Very interesting defender. He actually played for Arsenal, I think.
He's Greek.
He's Greek. I think first ever Greek defender for West Ham. I don't think we've ever had a Greek defender. So his short form name is Dinos. Actually, his short form name is Dinos. Quite difficult to pronounce his name.
Actually, I'll make a point quickly. A lot of my Arsenal friends, I know Arsenal sold him, but a lot of them actually quite liked him at the time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. They were quite sad he was sold, considering that at the time they didn't have Saliba or anyone like that. But yeah.
And it seemed that Stuttgart used to score long range shots, so sort of maybe help Moyes in the sense of long ball style. But coming back, I was very nervous. Chelsea, I was really nervous. I thought we were going to get thumped really, and I wasn't confident. But then I thought, when Agod scored the first goal, I thought, actually, I have a bit of confidence that we could be able to sort of score. But then how West Ham, typical, sit back, wait for something to happen in order, and then Chukwuemeka scored quite a good goal, and then after that, I thought Chelsea, this is, I've as being a Western fan for already 8 years, this is how we've been playing defensive football, and I'm already sort of gotten used to it. I'm not.
Well, Moyes out this season, right?
It's tough, really, Eugene. It's tough because I'm still on the fence here because I find it difficult because we look, when Moyes came in, I was not hopeful. I was very tired, and I thought it's very underwhelming appointment and very boring. He came in the first time, I thought, okay, he saved us from relegation, but then coming back again, what he's good at, saving us again from it. So I was okay with it. But then continuing in from him, what he delivered is what I actually didn't expect. 6th, 7th, and then the last season. Yeah, I know we did shit in the Premier League, but it sort of peeped over the cracks of our Conference League. But still, to finish 6th, 7th, I don't know about...
You win a trophy and you're talking about papering over the cracks? Come on. That's not papering over the cracks, right?
I mean, before
big up to Chris Stone, right? Big up Chris Stone, right?
Yes, I did know about the Fabianski thing. I think it was a bit poor professionalism from me.
I'm too old to put on a pair of boots to take over from Dyer and Langley, right? I'm too old for that, right? If I was 20 or 30 years younger, then most probably I'll do that, right? But no, coming back to this, what I'm saying, we've been doing shows the whole of last season, Kesha, and every time you keep saying it, and I keep telling you watch. Moyes is going to get you the Conference League, and you say no, it won't happen, and then it happened, right? So, I mean, like you said, Moyes ball is boring, but to tell the truth, right, at this moment of time, I've seen a lot of what I call managers who are actually pragmatic and do that boring kind of football. Predominantly the time, those type of managers win things. You get what I'm saying? It's a very seldom you get a very gem of like a Pep or a Klopp, right? Where you become elite and top level manager where you actually go out and have that attacking football and win things.
It's true.
Well, they've got some very good players, Like they've got Gerard Bowen, who's very underrated.
They bought Prowse as well.
And Paqueta, and now you've got Prowse pinning passes and doing free kicks. So you've got some very good players who are attack-minded. And Antonio, his first thing is to go forward, to look for that forward run. So you can always score goals. So have that in mind.
But Ellie, I'm so surprised, right? Antonio is not young chicken anymore, But somehow or another, on that day when I saw them play against Chelsea, he actually ran toe to toe with the ball against the Chelsea defender. I can't remember who's, and the Chelsea defender and Disasi is not an old man. Disasi is a young boy. You get what I'm saying? And he beat Disasi across the field, ran across, and went in the penalty box, and he took a shot and he scored. You get what I'm saying? So
because he's got pace. He hasn't lost much of his pace. And
he hasn't lost much of his pace
as well
for the age that he's in. You see, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think anybody wants to go near Antonio because he's massive. They're going to get injured.
Well, like I said, I was very pleased with the result. I think considering Chelsea's spend and how we have spent, I think I'm very, very happy with how we played. And I know, Moyes is he's lays his foundations on defensive solidity, sitting back, not letting the opposition near our space. And I thought we did actually, I thought we did that superbly. I thought Alvarez coming in, and then you bring in another defender just to stop the blocks getting in, how Stoke City used to play, I remember Stoke City in the Premier League.
Which Stoke?
Honestly, when with Tony Pulis and how they used to put long balls and having what's his name, Charlie Adam and Peter
Police
Crouch.
ball.
This is completely reminding me of how
Jermaine
Moyes is going to play. So
Roy Delap.
yeah, all those players. So
the long throw-ins, right?
That's how West Ham play, and that is that is how West Ham play. Yeah. But you know
Peter
what?
Crouch. I think Peter Crouch.
Yeah, if this system works, and we've got some good players. We've got Paqueta, we've got Bowen, we've got Antonio, we've got what's his name? Ings has not been good. Let me tell you that Ings has not been good. But
Ings is injured again, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, he was in the squad against Chelsea. But like I said, I am pleased. We've got a very good squad. We've got Paqueta, we've got Ward-Prowse and Alvarez in the middle. So if you play a 4-2-3-1, we've got Areola, who I thought was superb against Chelsea. We've got Emerson at the left, which I think had played very well. Now this is the thing. We got a god who's now got a red card, and I don't know. We're going to play Brighton next. I'm not confident at all for that game. Anyway, so we're probably going to slot Ogbonna in with Zuma and Kufal at the right. Then we've got dilemma whether to play I think we're going to probably play Ward-Prowse and Alvarez, and then the three which is Paqueta, Bowen at the right, Benrahma and Antonio up top. Now we have been we've so far signed 3 very good players, and there was actually this issue that came about beginning of the season with us appointing Tim Steidin as our sporting director. I was also a bit unsure whether this was going to be a good appointment, because I know Spurs were linked to him, and there were a lot of Spurs were linked to Tim Steidin, if I'm not mistaken. And I was thinking, how we as a club were able to sell this project to Steidin, because I know Moyes is very particular working with this type of people. He will not work with a sporting director, because Moyes will work with the head of recruitment. I know that for sure. But you know what? Actually, he's not actually done a bad job. Actually, he's actually done quite well, considering the players we've signed. If you see in the Twitter photos, whenever a player has been signed, he's gone on a private jet plane with them. He's done that with Edson Alvarez. He's done that with not James Ward-Prowse. I don't think it was with them. I think it was with Edson Alvarez and Mavropanos. We just signed 2 days before. So I think it shows that we are selling the club well. We are managing to get players in quickly, which I like. But what I like the most is that we are linked to Kudus from Ajax, which I think we're close to signing. I'm not getting my hopes on that yet, but what I think about him is a very good midfielder. And just when I think about it now, and I just imagine if we have Paqueta then Kudus, that is a good team. I mean, if you think about that, Alvarez, Paqueta, and that's it. I mean, with flair and technicality, I think we'll be a very difficult side. I hope that gets done. I think it's because Ajax are playing, I think, tomorrow morning. Today morning. They got a Europa League game, so I think Kudus will probably be in the squad. But, I think we're going to sign him for, I think, 45 million. I think it's 38 to 40 million. So that's actually not a bad price, considering, he played for Ajax. He's been good for Ajax, actually. But just imagine now, I'm looking at the midfield, thinking, wow, that's a good midfield when you add Kudus there, actually. I mean, he can play in right wing, a striker if needed, or attacking midfielder. But what I feel West Ham need, because if we're going to play this counter-attacking football, you need quick players with pace. And when you have Bowen, when you have Kudus, I think it really makes sense now how we're going to play this. If this is how we're going to play, then I think it will work. Because you can't play... The problem with West Ham is we always seem to play slow. I don't know whether you've seen us. We seem to play very slow, and I don't like that. Because when you play counter-attack, you need players who are able to run in from behind. We have that with Bowen, we have that with Antonio, but we don't seem to have that with Benrahma. Benrahma I find very slow. If we manage to add Kudus in that will be good. So I'm hopeful. Whether Moyes is going to stay or not, well, let's see about that. If he does, then I'll accept it. But don't get me wrong. I think he's done a great job, Moyes. I will back him. But we are playing Brighton this week. I'm not confident at all, because I think we look how Brighton play, and I'm really, at Brighton, we lost to Brighton last season 4-0. So I'm not too
Oh yeah,
confident.
everybody's afraid of Brighton nowadays, right? So, but what I'm saying now is,
We have them after.
yeah, Brighton has become a team that a lot of people are fearing at the moment, right? And to come to that, right? I think you will have to give Moyes more games down. Like this is just the second game of the season. The transfer window hasn't closed, like I've been saying, right? We will like to give it a longer look into it, right? I'll come to Arthur. Arthur, any thoughts on the Bournemouth West Ham game, West Ham Chelsea game?
Not really. I just think it's too early in the season, really, for me to have any hard decisions about, how good a side is. And we've just, if you like, got off the starting grid. So I'd like to wait for 3 or 4 games, perhaps, to make any hard decisions. But yeah, I reckon West Ham will nudge it. From what I've seen, you just don't know at the moment. It's too early.
Yeah.
I think the one positive for West Ham this season, right? They're putting points onto the board early, right?
Yeah.
It's not like last season where they didn't put points on the board, and then when they went into Europe, it was really scary for them. They were in relegation. That's why Kesha half the time was Moyes out at that period, right? So, but now at least you're putting points on the board, right? It's giving you a bit more confidence, right? That this season won't turn out to be so bad.
I agree with that, and I do agree with that. With the squad we have, Eugene, I'm a bit optimistic that we might go for. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. I'm going to say probably 8th or 7th. I think 8th or 9th. I think it'll be good. I really think it'll be good.
Yeah. And of course, let me get to 10-10. Your thoughts, right, on the the West Ham Chelsea game?
I didn't really watch either game, but in terms of like mostly the signings, I think the signings that West Ham are making, it seems like in a way it's kind of like a Newcastle type of way. Like they're getting players that I think will really improve the squad.
Yeah.
I really rate Kudus and Alvarez, both from Ajax. And I think obviously to go 4 points in the first 2 games, I think is, a very decent start for West Ham, especially beating Chelsea in the first home game. I just looked at like West Ham's next few games. It's Brighton away, Luton away, Man City at home, Liverpool away.
Easy, but
yeah.
But you know what? With the Brightons, Brighton's been our bogey team for 5 seasons, and we can't seem to be able to beat the side. I don't know for how long it's been. I'm actually getting a bit tired of us losing. But you know what? Even if we draw against them, I wouldn't mind actually. I think it'd be good.
Yes, Arthur, anything?
Yeah, just a quick say. I've got to nip off, unfortunately.
Okay, take care.
And I'll speak to you soon. Nice seeing all you guys.
Take care.
Have a good show. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. And of course, Chris Stone is saying, right, Paul Stalteri, he was playing for West Ham?
No, we scored the winner in the 4-3. Do you remember? We beat them.
Okay. All right.
In 2007, I think.
And it says that if we had a Spurs manager, Brighton chairman, Manchester City owner, of course, yeah, we'll dominate. We'll get the quadruple. If we had that. Yeah. And let me get to Doc. You watching the games? The Bournemouth, West Ham, Chelsea.
No, I didn't. Just the West Ham Chelsea one. I just wanted to see how Poch will be doing. And I was really impressed. I mean, all things considered, the fact that you managed to snare Ward-Prowse is a real prize to get. And if you get Kudus, you'll be even stronger. Yeah. So all the best to you. As far as I'm concerned, I like to see you can expect top teams to perform consistently across the season. The Manchester Cities and the Liverpools and all that. But I never like to see clubs use money as a means, of getting ahead. And the type of players that Newcastle, for example, the choices that they made are really astute in terms of getting the right players and all that. And you just and then I'm impressed that you have not spent too much of your 105 million pounds. Not too much of it, not so far. But that in itself is something else. But I've noticed. I remember that you've been concerned about the style of play that Moyes, is peddling all this while. But the point made by our other friends just now about being steady and not losing and all that is something to be recognized. And it is difficult for you to marry. To juggle between attractive football, entertaining football, and success, it's not easy, and that in itself is something that because you take sometimes you tend to go overboard. There's no proper control. So we shall see. But at the end of the day, I at least for the sake of my best friend who's a West Ham supporter, right? So at least for his sake, I would like to see success with the West Ham. Yes,
that's good. And Harry. Any thoughts on the game?
I didn't watch the Bournemouth West Ham game, but I did watch a bit of West Ham Chelsea. Well, West Ham under Moyes, he's doing the best with what he's got. You can't expect him to play this high intensity, high press, attractive football with someone like Mikel Antonio and the other players they got who just don't have the legs for it. So he's doing the best with what he's got. I mean, maybe it will change a bit now when they've got Ward-Prowse because he's more possession-based player. And with these two Ajax guys coming in, maybe they'll go to more aggressive attacking football. It could happen. I don't know. But I think with West Ham, they just need to carry on the same trajectory they're on. And just, I think losing Rice will be like a detrimental thing because Rice was West Ham's best player for the past 2-3 years, I'd say. But if they can mitigate the loss, and the Ward-Prowse, I think, goes a long way to do that in midfield, then they'll probably be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing I like, so sorry to step in, but the thing I like to say about the two midfield signings particularly is that Ward-Prowse is a very good captain and he showed very good leadership as well, which is what we lacked actually, because Rice did show a bit of that. And if you look in our squad, we don't really have a leader, and that is, to me, it was a bit concerning. So I think I can understand why Moyes is coming from when getting Ward-Prowse in, because the thing I found a bit weird is why weren't other clubs coming in for Ward-Prowse, because I could see potential in him. That was
we were linked to Ward-Prowse for the past 3 years.
The thing is, Ward-Prowse, I think, will be like a star at something like West Ham. It's just whether, say, he went to like Liverpool, I don't think he'd play, or if he went to like another team, I don't think he'd play. So I think for his career, it's best going to West Ham is his best thing because he'll play every week.
Yes, he's very good, and I think if we do get the signings we need, I think we're going to be another what I'll call Stoke City 2.0. That's what I call it. Long ball. It's going to come now. It's going to come.
But it works.
This only works for you guys, right? That's most about it. And what Chris Stone is saying is that Chelsea problem is several good players, but not getting into gel yet. Identity and of course the Poch might get it done, but sadly, because Poch has gone to Chelsea. But guys, okay. Before we end the show, we'll just go around, right? The predictions. Of course, we did the Liverpool, Manchester. Newcastle. Liverpool.
Newcastle. Yeah.
He's at 2-1. What do you say about that, Doc? Any predictions for that game?
Which one? Sorry.
Newcastle Liverpool.
Newcastle Liverpool. I fancy a draw. For some reason. Yeah, I fancy a draw. Yeah, so we'll go. I mentioned it just now. Yeah.
And then what about Keshav? What do you think about that game?
I'll probably say a 2-1 win to Liverpool. I think Newcastle will definitely compete, but I just feel Liverpool's more. I think they'll get the job done. It's not going to be pretty, but I think they will get the job done. Newcastle have done a very good job, but it's not going to. Newcastle will not find it easy. Liverpool will find.
So you're going to say Liverpool's going to win 2-1?
Yeah, the Liverpool win 2-1.
That's your brother. That's your twin brother's bias there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to tell you the truth, right? What I seen that game, I think if Newcastle play the way they did against Aston Villa, right? I think Newcastle might beat Liverpool 3-1. I see that score for Newcastle, right? And of course, who's West Ham playing after this?
We are playing Brighton, which I'm not really.
Dear.
Is it at Brighton?
Yeah,
Brighton. Okay.
We lost that.
All right. What's the score prediction for that game?
You know what? I'm actually going to be a bit optimistic here. I don't know whether it's going to come true, but I'm going to say 1-1. I don't think we're going to
Okay.
win. I think I like how Brighton play. I give a lot of credit to them because they're actually one of the best well-run clubs. Really, they really are. Their chairman
That's
is
what Kristen was saying, right? Yeah.
very
The
good.
Brighton chairman, yeah.
But you know what? It's when I'm facing all these type of sides, it's not going to be easy. So I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to fancy us to get draw somehow. Ward-Prowse free kick, hopefully, or header from maybe one of our defenders. But I'm not really confident because of the how we've been playing the past few seasons, and our upcoming games is not going to be easy. We got Luton to play, I think. Then after this international break, then we're playing Liverpool and then Man City, then Liverpool. So if we can, I think it's best for West Ham to try and get points on the ball. So if we can maybe get a draw against Brighton, win against Luton, I think that'll be good. So no pressure on the Liverpool, Man City games really, because I don't see how we're gonna. But I'm optimistic in terms of the sense we can hopefully get another signing in, which hopefully is Kudos, and then because you see we need another striker. We just sold Skamaka to what is it?
Oh yeah.
No,
I
was
think
it
Atalanta, I think.
Atalanta, yeah. And he
Atalanta,
wasn't. And let's be. I think Skamaka is good. Don't get me wrong. I think we bought him for a very good price. But you know what's the problem here? He doesn't fit Moyes' system. He's not like an Antonio. The problem is he's a very moody guy. He's not really the guy who gives that sort of a positive, I would say, impact in the dressing room. I don't know whether you saw him. Last time we're playing a Europa League Conference League game, I think it was. I don't know when it was. He went to watch a Roma game in that same day West Ham were playing, and I didn't like that. That didn't tell me that he was committed, and I know he was also not committed. So I think it was best for him to leave. But if you ask me who I like to get in, I think there's a lot of good players. I think we'll be linked with Solanke from Bournemouth, which I think
I saw that. Yeah.
And I think another player which I think we've just been linked with a few days ago was I forgot his name. Al Nasseri, very good striker. I really like him.
That's Sevilla.
Moroccan striker.
Yeah,
Morocco.
Yeah, from Sevilla, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We were linked with him too, Eugene.
Yeah. Okay. That's why when I don't do transfer shows because we're linked to everybody in the world.
Everybody.
Did you see that link with Pepe or something from Porto?
Yeah.
Apparently made a bid.
There's another Pepe.
Everybody.
We're linked to everybody, so I don't care.
And his uncle.
And his uncle and his cousin and nephew.
There you go.
Nephew, cousin, yeah.
And all that. But okay. 10. Brighton, West Ham. What do you think? West Ham, Brighton. What do you think?
I mean, the history of Brighton beating West Ham. But I think maybe the performance against Chelsea probably gives them a little bit of a boost. But I just think maybe losing Aguerd might be a big factor. Well, I'm not going to say it won't be a 4-0. I would say maybe 2-0.
Yeah, well, I would take that really. I would take that. I got to be honest, Brighton are in a way they have been a bogey team for us for I don't know how long. So, but you know what? I think losing Aguerd for a game, I think is a bit of a big blow. So I think Ogbonna coming in sort of gives us that. Oh, maybe we should shift to 3 at the back. I don't know, play 5 at the back. Maybe I don't know what we should do, but I probably think getting a draw at Brighton to me is a good result because I tell you, I
10 is saying it's 2-0. Keshav is saying you have it at a draw at 1-1. Harry, what do you think? Brighton
3-1 Brighton.
3-1 Brighton. Doc?
2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton. So
Brighton.
I guess at the way it's going, I will go on Brighton's side too. So 2-0, 3-0 Brighton. That should be the thing, right? As I see it at the moment, right? But it's just 2-3 games into the season. Yeah. Okay. The next one will be for the Spurs fans, right? Bournemouth, Harry, what do you think? Will we beat them this time?
2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Doc?
3-0 Spurs.
Oh, 3-0 Spurs. Kesha,
why
what
not?
do you think? Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I'm going to say 3-1 to Spurs. But I don't think it's going to be easy because we played Spurs. No, we played Bournemouth the first game.
Oh yeah, you played Bournemouth first game away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not easy. And Solanke is very good that game, actually. He caused our defense a few problems there. And I don't think Spurs defense, I know there's a lot of good signs of Van der Ven and Van der Ven. I think he's very good. But I think if let's say you played Emerson, I think it'd be I think Bournemouth would definitely have problems on that side. I don't rate Emerson highly. I really don't.
I will
But
take Porro, don't worry, because Porro is working at the moment, right?
Yeah,
And
Porro-
10, what do you think? Bournemouth Spurs.
Is it at Dean Court or Tottenham?
Away with me.
Away.
I'll go 2-2 at
Oh,
Desmond.
okay, he's going for a 2-all
Interesting.
draw. Another
Fair
Brentford cup draw, yeah. But to tell you, I think what I've seen of Bournemouth playing against Liverpool when Liverpool were down to 10 men and they still couldn't beat them and they still considered a goal while being 10 men down. I think there's a slight frailty in Bournemouth because last season they were 2 goals up and we came back late to beat them 3-2, right? But they did beat us at our stadium in after the Conte debacle and all that. But I think this season, oh, there goes Kesha. I'm not sure. Maybe he's lost his internet connection. I think we will beat Bournemouth, not say comfortably, but maybe, I think it'll be a 2-0 game for us, right? If we can hold on to our defense again. And it depends whether Bournemouth comes out at us, right? Or Bournemouth sits back. If Bournemouth sits back and play the low block and counter attack us, then we might have a bit of difficulties, right? We still haven't been really tested on the ball over the top and see what our defenders can do. So, but I believe that after the Manchester United game, there's a bit of hope there, and we will most probably give it a go, right? We'll most probably give up. And before we make a move, since it's past 2 over hours now, any last thoughts, guys? 10?
Well, I expect us to have a good performance against Liverpool. Whether we'll win, we'll see. But as I said, I'll go 2-0 for us to beat Liverpool.
All right.
Hopefully,
Doc?
but we'll see.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Doc?
Yeah, I agree with you. If Bournemouth were to play that low block, and yes, what we saw against Brentford, they lofted one over, and Emerson was huffing and puffing to chase the the left back. Remember? So that is the way to play this sort of game.
Rico Henry, that's the one.
Rico Henry, yes, fantastic player. Anyway, that's the way I suppose most teams would suss out in when they play us. But if they play an open game, I think we'll get a lot more joy.
Mm-hmm. And Harry, any last thoughts?
Yeah, Newcastle going to be in a tight race. Spurs will probably challenge for Europe because we're going to play 1 game a week. And yeah, leave you out.
Leave you out. Yeah, that's a good one. And
Leave you out.
are you doing any shows today?
Me? Oh, yeah. So in 45 minutes, I'm on a View from the South hosting, as I usually do on a weekly basis now, preview show for this time, obviously, for Bournemouth on Saturday. I've got a Bournemouth fan coming on, and I don't know if Eugene's going to join in 45 minutes or not.
I'll join you later, don't worry.
Yeah. And so like an hour and a half show. And then I don't know if I'm going to join Hanno's afterwards. I haven't decided yet because it depends what time we finish with the first one. I told him. So I don't know if I'll be sitting here. But for the next 45 minutes, though, I'm going to take a break.
Yeah, so I'm going to have something to eat, then I'll join you.
Yeah.
And guys, everybody, don't forget, go over to View from what?
View from the South. Also subscribe to my own channel, Hasper TV.
Yeah, Hasper TV.
I'm also on 300. I need 12 more to 300. So please subscribe.
And 10, you're doing shows nowadays, right?
Mostly just live watch longs, and obviously there's the Champions League draw coming up, so that would be exciting as a Newcastle fan. But yeah, most of the time it's like live watch longs.
What's your YouTube channel? 10?
What's it called?
What's it called?
10,
yeah, that's my
10,
YouTube.
10 item. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
10 item. Yeah, 10 item. Right, guys. Yeah, I would like to say a lot of thanks to the panel who was here earlier. Ellie, Arthur, Keshav, Billy, Uncle Rods, right? Who else did I miss out? Did I miss out anybody else? Nobody else, right?
I think I just subscribed anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And don't forget to go subscribe to 10 Item on YouTube, right? Subscribe, please go subscribe. And of course, I'm going to say a big shout out to all the guys in the chats, right? Yes, of course, Ellie, right? Leave you out, yeah, right? Tonight, Matthew Bosch is going to be on there. Chun Yao, big up, thanks, Chun Yao, right? And of course, he says she'll be on with Chris, Jose, and herself, right? Chris Stone, thanks for being on. right? Big shout out all the guys in the chats, right? We got Kelsey Brown. Kelsey Brown is your friend, right, Ten?
Yeah, Newcastle
he's
fan
your
as
friend.
well. So
Newcastle fan as well.
Everman, Chris.
Yeah, of course, we have Luca. Big up to Luca. He's an Arsenal fan. Leo, big up, Leo. Right, and then this is Shanska. Yeah, I forgot to say a big shout out to Shanska too. He was on the panel. Yeah, this Shanska's a girlfriend. Right, big up to her. All right, and Eva
Please
Man, big up to
subscribe to
Eva
my
Man. Yeah. Please subscribe, whoever. Please subscribe to the channels that we all have. Right, and of course, to big up to Chris Agamba. Right, Uncle Rod is here. Eva Man, and of course we got Snoop
Dogg.
Snoopy Dogg. Yeah, Snoop Dogg Triple G. Right, guys, thanks for being on. Right, it's been a great show. Right, and a bit, yeah. It's a good show. It's been a good show, right? And not to forget, I'd like to thank all you guys. Just hang on while I do the outro. I'll meet you guys back in the back room for a while, have a short chat, right? Take care. And of course, leave you out.
Leave you out.
Leave you out.
Oh yeah, guys. Before I really end the show, right? I forgot this. I did a meet and greet with Danny Rose, right? So I'm coming out with the video, the vlog of that session that I had with him. There'll be interesting points for you guys to listen to and look at, right? But I'm still editing the video because I need to get some approval from the people that to let me put it live on the show, right? So, and as always, leave you out. One more
Thanks,
time.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's gonna end now.
Okay.